So you're just about to start your career in recruitment. You've got offers from 3 different companies, and it's one of the biggest choices you're ever going to make in your life, right? That first decision you make, the first recruitment company you join. So we're going to talk about maybe some of the different things that people should consider.
Because if you get it wrong, it could really slow you down.
So first point, how important is the manager that you're going to be reporting into? How big a part should that play in your decision?
I think pretty important, I think you want to look at the person behind the resume, right? So I think choosing somebody that you have a good feeling about it, that you have a good chemistry, someone you admire, someone that you aspire to become, someone that inspires you. Let's have a look at the CV of that person. Sometimes you might prefer to work with a newly promoted manager that is full of energy, hungry, just recently proved herself as a good biller. Have that, energy, freshness, but also you might choose a more experienced person that's been managing people for many years, they've seen them all, experienced them all, but of course they will have a little bit less momentum going on their side, right? Matt, is there any trick or that, you can use to find out if this person is going to be a good match for you?
It's 2 different things. How good are they, firstly? And I think you should ask them some questions about the performance of the team, how much they've personally built, and some questions around what their management style is. That's going to help you cover those technical bases. I think if you also get the chance to meet them in a social setting, that also makes a big difference. So if you're, if you do drink alcohol, I think having a drink with somebody can be pretty revealing. If not, even a coffee, actually, you can find out some stuff.
You spend more time, therefore you have more opportunity to get to know each other, right?
If it's me and I'm in a casual situation with somebody, I will try and take the topic off work and just see what that reveals about the person. So it's very easy to get stuck into work mode, but in a casual situation, take the topic off work. Let's find out what they're doing their free time. And I think that can also reveal the kind of person that you're going to be working with. So number 2, Alex, how about the team that you're joining? Do you need to meet the team to make the decision? Is it important that you get on with them as well, or the dynamic?
Me, I'm not a fan of meeting the team. I think the relationship is with the manager. I think if you have good chemistry with the manager, I trust the manager to run a good team, and you're probably gonna get along. One of the reasons why the manager decided to offer you is because he thinks you will be a good fit with the team, right? So, the manager, it's his job to spend time recruiting for his own team, but the other people in the team, again, what do we ask 5 people to go on a fly out for dinner with somebody that might not even take the offer? I'm not sure it's also cool for the team, and the team would be happy about it to do it as well.
I agree with you. I think make your decision based on the manager. The team's going to be fine, and also team members can come and go, right? The manager should be more stable by definition. That's the person you're going to have the relationship with. You may find some friends there. You may be competing heavily with some people. I think it's more important that you're led by the right person.
Absolutely, right. I agree.
So number 3, something which I think is really important, and nobody really asks this, and I think they should do, but when you're thinking about accepting a job offer, I want to know, okay, which clients am I going to get straight away, and how much new business will I have to do to generate clients? So what I say to people at Cornerstone is, pretty much for the first kind of 2 months, we're going to give you the clients, right? And
even throughout their career, but the frequency of those leads will decrease because the team is going to grow.
That's it. We give you a portfolio, and then if you really want to be successful, it's probably going to look something like 60% will be clients generated by the business, 40% you're going to have to do new business. We have a very clear answer about that. You think it's important for people to know that before they join?
I think the quality of the client portfolio will play a big part in your success. If you have a terrible client portfolio, even an amazing recruiter, it's not going to make much money, So I always take a great client portfolio with an average recruiter versus an amazing recruiter with a bad client portfolio, What about the specialization, right? Does it matter the vertical or the horizontal that you're going to be doing?
It really depends whether you have a clear passion, like you're going to be really motivated working in one area and you have a clear first choice. That may make the difference, right? Because you can, recruitment is a job about motivation and continuing to work through, if you have a real passion and desire and interest and maybe even an understanding of one sector, that could give you the edge. Right. So I can see that factoring in. What about if you have that passion, but the leader's kind of your second choice, and then you got another company where the leader's your first choice and the industry's your second choice?
It's a big dilemma, mate.
Yeah.
It's a big dilemma. I don't know. That's one of those philosophical questions that it depends on how big the gap is, you know? So I think if it's a close gap, I would choose the manager rather than the industry. I don't know if you really have to recruit in an area that you really, really dislike. I don't know how long you're going to last there, even if you like the manager. What about the brand? In a hypothetical scenario, both managers are great.
Yeah.
They both offer you that famous fashion sexy desk.
Similar money.
But one is a big shop and one is a 5-man band boutique. How would you make that decision?
Well, so I think a big brand can be a great choice to start with, because you pick up the phone to a client and they know you.
Yeah.
Right. But often in those big brands, hey, you're joining a big team and all the best clients are gone.
Yeah.
So you have a great brand, but you have the worst clients that nobody wants to work with. And maybe if you can survive a year, you might, and somebody else leaves, you might eventually get something else.
Yeah.
But if it was a 5-man band and they had a decent little client base, and I was really invested in the leader and thought that his or her vision was great and I could really work with them and they're going to invest in me, I might go for that.
Yeah, I mean, I think is in general, right? You know, the big brands are going to have more resources, but of course the commission will be less, and the type of accounts that you will be given, yes, they have lots of accounts, but as Matt said, maybe actually the account that you're going to get are not going to be amazing, and a slower career progression because you're at the bottom of the food chain.
Yeah.
And the last one, Matt, what about money, mate?
I think very personal choice. So people are motivated differently. What I would say is the only thing that really matters, I think, is, do you actually understand how this works?
Yeah.
Do you understand how the base salary is structured, how the commission is structured, what people on average bill in their first year in that company, realistically how it's going to work? And you may not be as money motivated as other people, so that decision can be different person to person. But I think the key is, do you actually understand it, and do you actually understand realistically what you would be expected to, as an average person, what you would bill in year one?
Yeah.
And I think once you know that, then you can make the decision which is personal to you based on your own motivations. Yeah. So basically, there are a lot of different factors which are going to go into making a decision.
Yeah.
Everything's going to be personal to you, obviously. But I think if we're going to summarize, probably the most important thing is the leader that you're going to be working with. I think that's our one bit of advice that we would give you. That's absolutely crucial. So make sure you ask all the right questions, you really get to know the people you're working with, and make the right decision.